All of these folks are huge supporters. A lot of them are from other countries. Luca, she is managing the Trump cafe downstairs, Trump Grill. She's from Romania. These folks are from everywhere. They're from all walks of life. Blue collar, a lot of immigrants, a lot of, people of color. And so all of this BS that the American Bolsheviks have been spreading about President Trump is not true. Black people love him. Hispanics love him. White, any color.
That was Rebecca Koffler, a Russian-English bilingual U.S. intelligence expert, strategic military intelligence analyst, and author of Putin's Playbook, Russia's Secret Plan to Defeat America, featured on The War Room from Real America's Voice, claiming that former President Donald Trump can't be racist because he employs Black, brown, and Native people. And also, they love him. I mean, just a few years ago, it was reported that the president's Florida resort, Mar-a-Lago, filed requests with the Department of Labor to obtain 61 visas for foreign workers. The Mar-a-Lago Club asked for 40 H-2B visas for servers and another 21 for cooks. The H-2B visa is for, quote, temporary and non-agricultural workers. According to the Department of Homeland Security's U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, the employer filing for H-2B visas must demonstrate that there are, quote, not enough U.S. workers who are able, willing, qualified, and available, and that the foreign workers will not adversely affect the wages and working conditions of similarly employed U.S. workers. That per USA Today. It wasn't the first time that Mar-a-Lago had made such requests either. You should know that the cooks were supposed to be paid at least $13.31 an hour, and the servers were supposed to be paid at least $12.68 an hour. Now, this wouldn't be Trump taking advantage of foreign workers in order to underpay them at the expense of unemployed U.S. citizens, right? I mean, at least these workers are documented. Wait, Future Me is putting up a headline proving that 45 not only hires undocumented workers, but he fires them. I would do that. Oh, beautiful bastard. But does that mean that Donald Trump is or has been racist towards people of color at his places of employment? After all, again, he gave them jobs. Jeff, me, when you're editing this video, you're going to include a TikTok about this too, aren't you?
In 1991, a book by John O'Donnell, who was a former president of a Trump hotel and casino in Atlantic City, quoted Trump saying the following about a black accountant. And then in a 1997 interview with Playboy, Trump did say that it's most likely true and very likely that he did say those things. In 1992, a Trump hotel plaza and casino was fined $200,000 because they were transferring black and women dealers off the floor to accommodate a big gambler's prejudices.
Okay, I think the TYT audience gets it. They are...
In 1993, in congressional testimony, Trump said that some Native Americans shouldn't be running casinos because, and quote, they don't look like Indians to me.
Is this you discussing Indian blood? We're going to judge people by whether they have Indian blood, whether they're qualified to run a gaming casino or not?
That probably is me, absolutely. Because I'll tell you what, if you look at some of the reservations that you've approved, you, sir, in your great wisdom have approved, I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like the Indians. Now, maybe we say politically correct or not politically correct. They don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians.
What's your plans? You're the youngest one right now in Connecticut. Where do you see yourself in 10 years from now?
Well, I got inspired by a man you know quite well. His name's Donald Trump. And my goal someday is to get higher up in politics. I don't really know where that's going to lead me. But I keep the same principles that he has. Never give up, never give in, never back down. And as a young conservative, I've taken a lot of heat, especially in school. I've been called all the labels, racist, sexist. I've been yelled at by teachers because I stood for the Pledge of Allegiance when no one else would. So I've kind of learned that, especially in Connecticut, which is a quite liberal state, you got to stand for what you believe in. So I'd like to maybe move up and run for office when I'm done pursuing my education, get that degree under your belt. And hopefully maybe one day run for a national office.
That's what you got to do.
Quick look behind the scenes before I continue. Usually, I don't watch the opening clip that I choose to use right before I record, but I just did, and come on. You can't convince me that this isn't a skit or something. When I first saw it, I thought it was written by Walter Masterson. This student at the Trump rally in New Hampshire came from Connecticut. He says Trump has inspired him to run for office someday. And even though people at school say he is sexist and racist, Trump has showed him by example not to let that bother him, without even realizing that the more obvious example being shown is a sexist and racist person running for public office in politics. Don't forget about the victim mentality. His teacher yelling at him for standing for the Pledge of Allegiance when nobody else stood is a thing that didn't happen. Now, for people who can't stand identity politics and don't believe in intersectionality, they sure do hold on to both sexism and racism like it's a part of who they are. And to be clear, they're not accused of those things because they're conservatives. No, it's not because of their traditional values or something. It's because they grab by the... Not the black women, though. Which, speaking of, makes it even more weird for this kid to refer to former President Trump as this.
You gotta dress right when you're gonna see Mr. America, right?
You have to dress
the part.
Keep in mind, New Hampshire is also liberal and voted for Joe Biden in 2020. According to CBS News Boston, Trump's appearance there marked his first return to an early voting state since his legal troubles increased. He spoke on the same day that his former vice president, Mike Pence, testified before a federal grand jury investigating efforts by Trump and his allies to overturn the 2020 election. Meanwhile, writer E. Jean Carroll testified Thursday that she was RAPED'd by Trump in the 1990s, a charge he denies. Gross. Seriously, I hope this kid achieves his dreams, has all the success in the world, and doesn't let anything stand in his way. Unless it's, of course, sexual assault allegations, lawsuits, discrimination, sexism, and racism.